Do women test men? Yes, they do. In this video, I'm going to show you if it's really a test or if she's just done with a relationship. And in fact, I'm going to teach you a little bit about what tests are and that there's only two types of tests and how to get through all of them just spectacularly, and also what you can do to be the kind of guy that just doesn't get tested at all, because trust me, you don't want to be this guy who's tested all the time. It's a pain in the ass, it's exhausting, and really, I don't want to deal with it. Do you? Anyways, stick around. I'll show you how to do all of this and also what to do and to know if your relationship is done or not. My name is Ed Baxter, and I help guys in betrayal situations. The process of being with a woman for 50 years or a woman that you're dating is pretty much the same. For us, it's just science. Because we know the patterns, we know the solutions. It's not that complicated. You have to make a commitment for yourself. That's what it means to be in Soul Seducer program. That's what it means to work with me directly. So that you can learn to handle your emotions, so you can learn to see right into a woman's soul and seduce her from within, to create this garden that she can actually thrive in. We'll get you to that place where you make the right decision for you and your chick. So before we get into it, let's define what a test is. So a test is when your woman does something that's kind of contrary to what you want. So what this means is you'll hear this a lot on the internet, that women test men, and you have to pass their shit tests or whatever for her to come into compliance and fall into your frame or fall into your leadership and all this stuff. And so, sure, they can test. Sometimes it's a subconscious thing. Sometimes it's very conscious. And really the only reason that they're testing you is for one of two reasons. I don't care what other people say. There's only two reasons for this, and really there's only one. But I'll break it down to two because it's a little bit easier to understand. So one, are you a liar? Are you who you say you are? Are you lying? Are you hiding? And she's trying to expose you. She wants to see, are you truthfully who the guy you are? And they do this because a lot of guys will say and do anything to sleep with them. So part of her psychology is designed to root out men, to see if they're safe, to see if they are exactly who they say they are. And so she'll do a bunch of things to see if you really are who you say you are. If she thinks that you're a liar, she's going to test you. Are you certain about the path that you're going to take? So she'll challenge you on it. Are you who you say you are? Do you actually have that money? Do you actually have that car? Are you actually physically fit? So women love the things that they don't actually have to test. They can just see it as self-evident, right? If you're muscular, if you're tall, she's like, okay, this guy has some good, at least some habits and some good genetics. That's good. She doesn't have to worry about that. But she might test you and say, is he secure in who he is? If he's insecure in who he is, then he's pretty weak in the world. He'll get yanked all over the place. He's not actually a man of power. If he's insecure with who he is, it means he's easily manipulated. So what she'll do is she'll say some cutting remarks to you to see what actually happens and to see if you actually buckle to it. You're like, she's just being a bitch. She's really just seeing if you're a liar, to see if you are really who you are. And some women do this more than others. Some, they take it as a reckless, wanton abandon to just say whatever the fuck they want to say. And a lot of guys just put up with it. So in other words, she may be looking to just be cross-checked. And so that brings you to the second reason a woman will test you, which is, I need somebody to show me leadership and to help me regulate. And so if you're with a woman and she gives you attitude, and she gives attitude to all kinds of people, and she may do it because she's beautiful and she can get away with it, she does it because she's looking for somebody to cross-check her. To say, hey, look, that shit don't fly over here. Now, when you do this, you bring the cross-check, hey, I'm not going to have this in my life. I'm not going to put up with this right here with me. She has a choice. She either has to fall into your frame or she has to get the fuck out. And that's the place you have to be. So if she's trying to do this, she's trying to look for some sort of a regulation in this way. Or she's testing your strength, so it's all a test to see if you're a liar. We want to look at tests as an opportunity, not a punishment. So if your wife gives you a sideways glance or she gets on to you about something, it's an opportunity for you to rise up and handle the situation. Maybe you need to walk into collision. Maybe you need to set a standard. Maybe you need to set a boundary. Maybe you need to open her heart up so that she remembers who she is, and not this angry person, but this essence of love. Maybe she needs to be shown this. And so look at it as an opportunity, not as something that you have to deal with and endure. Because the reason that they're coming up at all is because you haven't dealt with it properly in the past. If you're not dealing with it properly in the past, you can damn well be sure it's going to keep getting worse and worse and worse. Why? Because there's a part of her that says, I need you to rise up, I need you to do this, so I'm going to have to keep escalating this until you're forced to do something. And so for a lot of guys, if they get cheated on by their wife is saying, hey, I need you to do whatever, you're not doing it, how much do I have to escalate before you finally fucking move? And then she cheats on him and she's like, is this what it took? And then he turns into a sniveling mess or turns into this angry asshole. And, you know, he's justified being angry at this point. But the whole point is that she's pushing it. How much can I get away with? How much can I disrespect for you before you actually cross-check me? How much are you going to actually put up with in this life while you're with me. You're going to keep putting up with that? God, I can't believe you. You're going to put up with that? Holy shit. You're going to do that too? Yeah, I don't have any respect for you at all. I don't want to sleep with you. You're not powerful and strong at all. I can't trust where you're going to go. You're completely manipulated. You're completely easily handled. And that's not the guy I want to be with. I want to be with a savage dude who cannot be controlled, who's going to go in his own direction, who cannot be, and who is going to cross-check me and show me, hey, I can't act like this. At least not in his presence. This is what she wants. And so what you tolerate, you encourage in this game of testing and failing. And so if you want to have a calm life, if you want to not be tested at all, if you don't want to deal with this shit, you have to knock these out of the park. You cannot allow this stuff to fester, not even one time. Then on the other hand, you have to then say, is this the kind of thing I want to deal with in my life? And so looking at all tests doesn't necessarily mean you should put up with them. Some of them you say you shouldn't have in your life at all. Your job is not to perform for women. Your job is to perform for yourself. Your job is to be your own greatest adversary, to be the guy who is always trying to excel past himself all the time, not to be what somebody else wants you to be. Because if you're trying to be what somebody else wants you to be, this is a big weakness within your psychology, and somebody can start playing that against you. They can start manipulating you surrounding that. And so you don't ever want to have that kind of approval-seeking mechanism around somebody else, especially the women in your life. Because they will test it, and they will start leveraging it, and then they'll be able to manipulate you. And when they start manipulating you, they'll stop respecting you. And then when they stop respecting you, they're not going to be sexually attracted to you. And so you have to stay strong in who you are. As long as you're dealing with this, one or two outcomes is going to happen. One, she's going to have to fall into the frame of, hey, he doesn't operate this way, so I need to button it up. Or two, I'm going to continue to operate this way, and he's not going to capitulate, and so it's going to be intolerable for me to be in his life. And so she will put herself in one of the two of these categories. If I want to be with him, I have to be this way, or I can't stand this so much I got to get out of his life. Either way you win, because you held your frame. You held what you wanted in your life. And so in my relationship, and leadership in my relationship means calm, peaceful, we don't raise our voice, we don't have bad tone of voice, and bad tone of voice is a type of manipulation. We don't guilt, we don't shame, we don't call names, we talk peacefully, and we get to the root of the issues. And we have the conversation till it's handled. And we don't sweep shit under the rug. And so that's the place you're coming to when you're with me. And so women will test men to see if they're still worthy of trust. And so if she's testing you and you feel the tension, she's still engaged with you, she's still in the mix with you. If she doesn't do it at all, if she's completely indifferent, then she's not engaged at all. She's not asking to see if you're still worthy of the trust. She's not still seeing if you are somebody that she wants to fall into the frame of. If your leadership is lacking, she doesn't even care anymore. She's already checked the fuck out completely. And so if she's still testing you, if she's still messing with you, there's a place, at least some level of, hey, I'm still trying to see if this guy is who I really want to be with. But if she's quiet, she's cold, she's not engaged emotionally with you, she's not giving you attitude that which you can reside or bounce off of, then she's completely checked out. And if she's completely checked out, then you are wasting your time trying to prove yourself to her. In fact, you shouldn't prove yourself to anybody, much less any of the women in your life. And so if she is still testing you, if you still feel that there's tension in this, that means she's still in the game with you. But if she's completely indifferent, like I said before, then she's out. And you're wasting your time, you should just move on. If you're a woman in my life, this is how we're going to operate. I will not allow that shit to happen at all. If that's the game you want to play, that's cool. You can play that game. You just won't be my woman. You will not be in my life. And in fact, even if you're one of my friends, you can't be in my life. Why? I don't need that shit. I got enough going on. I got guys that need help. I'm about transformation. I'm helping people to transform. So how can I have any kind of integrity if I'm allowing people into my life and not holding the line, holding the standard? And so this is how I have my life. This is what I do with my boys. My boys are awesome. They're harmonious. They fight a little bit, but they know that they're not going to fist fight. They're not going to have all these problems. I had these problems growing up because my parents, my dad, did not know how to set boundaries. He did not know how to hold frame. He did not know how to lead the relationship at all. And so my mom fucking spun out like crazy. She was angry and bitter, resentful all the time. She cheated on my father. And then he kept sticking around. There were no consequences to her actions. She could do whatever the fuck she wanted and it didn't matter. And then in the consequence of that, she started disrespecting him more and more and more. And it was obvious that she didn't want him at all. But he stuck around for us kids and because he was still chasing the validation of her. And this is the problem that happens with guys because they're not strong and grounded in who they are. And they don't pass any of these tests because they're failing themselves constantly. So when somebody else out there throws something at them, they don't know how to handle it. Nobody taught them how to handle this. Nobody taught me how to. I've had to figure this out on my own. But you're watching this video, you got fucking gold, brother. You have the keys to the kingdom right here at your feet, at your fingertip. If you believe that your wife is just testing you, giving you a hard time, or if she's done, the process is still the same. You speak your truth, you hold to it, and you do not allow bullshit to happen in your life. And so for some guys, they're gonna be with a woman, especially if he's dealing with like some sort of personality disorder like borderline or narcissism. They're always gonna push and test the boundaries of what they get away with you. Then you're going to come to this place, and it's going to be sooner rather than later of how much am I willing to tolerate? Because with certain people, they will not stop testing. They will always push your boundaries, always try to see what they can get away with, and are always looking for ways around what you will and will not tolerate in your life. And so it really comes down to how much are you willing to tolerate? And don't accept a woman's crazy just because it's a test. Just because you think it's a test or because she presents it as a test doesn't mean you have to accept it. If she starts testing in a way that you don't like or you don't find acceptable, if she starts flirting with other guys, she starts keeping guys' phone numbers all around, she doesn't have any girlfriends, there's a lot of red flags coming up, and these are all tests. You're like, hey, baby, I told you I don't like this. I don't appreciate you talking to me in this way, and she just keeps pushing over the boundary. You have to push her out. The ultimate boundary is walking away. And you're going to find that she will very quickly apologize, beg to come back, and you'll go right around and play this game again. And then a month later, you're in the same fucking boat you were before. Why? Because you keep tolerating it. You still let her back into your life. And so sometimes the test has to be hit so hard that she's gone from your life completely. That she cannot be back in your life, because what she knows she's going to do is if she gets an inch, she's going to take a mile. And so for you, if you're having these kind of situations in your marriage, then this is where you're at. Once you start holding the line, you start pulling back your time and attention, you start holding boundaries, and you start passing these tests, you start being honest and exposed and exactly owning who the fuck you are, not apologizing for it at all, coming forward with heart and humility, and you say, this is the line that we're going to have in this family. This is how we're going to operate. We're not going to operate in this place of manipulation, guilt, and shame. We're not going to operate in this place where you can roll your eyes at me or walk away from me and not deal with stuff, push everything under the rug, and you don't want to have a good relationship. Because remember, relationships is about relating to each other. And if we have one person in a relationship who's willing to relate and the other one who is not, that's not a relationship. It's a one-sided situation. And so there comes to be a point when you start holding this line for stuff, you're going to have to say, this isn't going to work. I don't like these tests, and I don't like the tests that she's presenting to me, so I don't really have to be with her. And so don't get caught up in this game of approval-seeking behaviors through the game of testing. You'll say, well, she's giving me a hard time. It's just another test. It's just another test. It's just another test. It's like, no, you're still trying to win with this woman, and you winning her back is like your entire personality, your entire self-worth is completely hinged on, can I win this woman back? If you have that within you, you will always be a slave to her. In fact, the worst guys like this are like my top performing clients. In other words, the entrepreneurs, the guys that make a lot of money, the guys that can go crush it in business, and then they come to this place of, I'm going to win my wife back no matter the cost. I'm going to use all the stuff I used in business, all the tenacity and acumen, and I'm going to apply it to my marriage, and I win everywhere else in the world. I'll win here too. And it's like those guys are the worst because they forget to realize that they can't control somebody else. That this person is a sovereign human being, and you can't manipulate or do whatever to make her love you in the way that you want her to. Again, it's best for you to realize that you're in the wrong market and then go advertise in the right market, which is you as the product trying to sell the wrong product to the wrong market, which is your wife who's cheating on you. If you're with a woman who's cheating on you, you should not make it work. You should not try to get her back. My opinion, if you're being cheated on by your woman, she needs to get the fuck out. And then you can button up and then be better for the next one. But do not try to make that one work for her. It's because somebody who's going to do that to you on some level does not value you at all. Because somebody who has integrity would not cheat on you. They would end the relationship first. And then they go do whatever it is that they want. They wouldn't cheat on you and put you through this whole whatever. So, if this video is helpful for you, you want other guys, you want this video to show up on their feed, hit the like button. Hit subscribe if you want to see more like this. And if you're considering the Soul Seducer program, you want to be a guy that absolutely fucking dominates his marriage in the way that brings peace, harmony, has his wife constantly desiring him, always devoted to him, always wants his time and attention, appreciates the shit out of all the work that he does for the family. Check out Soul Seducer in the description below. Anyways, brother, I love you, and I'll see you in the next video.